starting the video off. I just now landed in Fort Lauderdale. Everything went well. I got my I'm going to try. I've had bad luck with Uber and getting Ubers in these busy atmospheres like this. So after some research and talking to some people, I'm just going to try to. I think I'm going to go the old school way, see if I can find a regular old school yellow taxi, see how much it cost before, and go from there, because I don't want to. Uber's ripped me off several times, and I don't want to get into all that. So that's the plan. Got about 20-30 minute drive, so we'll see. We'll check in in a bit. So I went to check in at the Circa 39 hotel, and they tell me they are overbooked, and they are sending me to another hotel. Well, how they're overbooked because of this shit. Because I've got two different things about trying to upgrade. So I really don't get how they're up, but I'm tired and disgusted. It's been a long day. And I guess we're on the way to another hotel. I really don't have no idea where it's at. Supposedly it's nice over there. But yeah, Circa 39, they are off to the next. All right. Here's how my plan changed. I was going to just do the old school taxi because I wasn't looking for confusion. And the first guy came up and said $80, which turns out I believe that was just a regular dude trying to get $80 out of me. So I did find the cabs, and they said $70, which I still knew was too high. So I did end up going to Lyft. And it was actually a pretty good price, $43. But then the bad news was there was a lot of traffic, so I bet it took an hour to get there. So flying into Miami to go to Fort Lauderdale is just not really worth it. It doesn't sound like that far, and I did save money, but it wasn't the right kind of saving money. It was not worth it. So if I had to do it over again, I would just flying straight to Miami and pay them more and cut down on the stress. So you live and learn. But yeah, the old school taxis, which are now wide apparently, was $70. Lyft was $43. I give the guy a couple bucks tip. But that's how I got there. That's how I got from the Fort Lauderdale airport to Miami hotel. Oh, this day has been a disaster pretty much. I went to check into the Circa 39 hotel after the hour-long drive from there, and they basically said you don't have a room, even though I had a room, I had it reserved and all that stuff. And there was just a ton of confusion, and I was angry. And then he said they would pay for my room at a sister place, and then didn't really give me any paperwork, and they called for the lift, but then the lift got here immediately, and I wasn't even quite sure I had the right name of the hotel. And then, 10-minute drive or so, got here, people at the front at a place called, where am I at? I don't even know where I'm at. The Gates is what it's called. Girl at the front desk didn't have me in there, and then eventually 5-10 minutes later of arguing with her, she found me. I believe what has happened is they must have, at the Circa 39 place, they must have just sold my room to somebody else, I guess, and then ended up just paying for my room here on their own is what I got. I finally talked to a manager here at the Gates that was nice and helpful and friendly, and from talking to him, that's what we think happened. So I'm at the Gates here, and I guess I'll show you the room while I'm here. Footage of the hotel from the outside. One good thing is there is a Walgreens not too far from here. There's a nice little water. Pretty nice. They have a whole lot of restaurants. I was gonna grab something at restaurant there, but I had a long day, tired, stressed, and didn't want to spend $40 for a meal, and I was kind of too, whatever to eat. I think that is the fourth fire truck I've seen in 10-20 minutes. But not a whole lot really to do here necessarily. Walking distance. The Walgreens is just right there.
Let's go, family!
Hotel fifth fire truck. Some nice interior, you got decorated with on. It's built up into the sideways. That's about it for us, the hotel side. All right, here we are at the Gates Hotel, I believe it is. Was not planning on doing a review on this, but here we are. It is a small room, but I'm going on a cruise, so that doesn't really bother me. You got a modern looking sink here, tile flooring. A safe and ironing board. Nice looking shower. Commode. They do have a door before you get to all this right there. You got carpet tile. This is a king bedroom. Got a little bench there and a little work desk. So, fairly good room. The bed feels pretty comfortable. But yeah, here's this is what it is. Pretty nice room. Maybe even a little bit better than where I was supposed to stay, but probably not worth the aggravation from what I thought I was. But I'm gonna go grab something to eat, and I might record some of the downstairs area. I have talked a little bit about what happened as far as posting the video from yesterday, but I wanted to post another recap for kind of my own personal use. Got checked into the Peachy Air parking, which is what we always used, and it's probably, I don't know if it makes sense to complain about this, but they actually got there too fast, and to the point I felt like I don't even think I'd got out of my car, or I don't think I got out of the truck yet, and they were there waiting on me, and I had everything ready to go, but they were there, and I gave them my bags, and I just felt felt rushed, and one of those you're not 100% sure you locked the vehicle, but there's nothing really in there. I don't think that in there still, but, and I had the keys, but you know, it just felt a little bit rushed there. And I got there too early, and I knew I got to the airport too early, but with Atlanta traffic, you never know. And you know, I was just literally sitting there at my house staring at the walls because I didn't feel like watching TV. So I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and go. So I got there 2 hours early, and then I went to check in. Well, I did this, but you know, but they, you know, everything went good, the check-in process. But where I started screwing up was I thought I only got one check bag, but apparently I got two. And my carry-on bag for the cruise, which is where I have my energy drinks, and I should have just checked that with them, and that would have saved me $20. But I tried to carry that on the plane with me, and they, you know, said you can't carry these on here, and I, you know, but for, you know, the Atlanta, as y'all know, the Atlanta airport workers aren't necessarily known for their friendliness, and I was like, you know, she's like, well, you can check them. I was like, you know, check them, I have to go through all this line again. And I thought I had to pay for it. I was like, I ain't gonna do that. She said, well, you can drink them. I was like, I'm not chugging 9 energy drinks. I'll be in a doggone coma. So anyway, I threw that away. That's the kind of thing that, even though it's probably only $20 worth of drinks every night, it felt like about 300 to me. But you know, everything. So that kind of just, you know, got me off in a little bit bad mood. But you know, I waited for probably an hour and a half. Did get lucky and find a phone charger when I was waiting to, you know, board. I was able to board 100%. And the actual flight on Southwest was a dream. I mean, it couldn't have been any better, because by the time I got to, you know, because there was only a couple of empty seats in the entire plane, and by the time I got, and I was one of the ones that had the empty seat beside me. The person to the right was worried about COVID and had on a mask and a shield, so she wasn't talking to me, so that worked out. And you know, flight went on time. No, you know, got a little small third of a Coke and a box of snack mix. But then where we landed was the aggravating part. And I knew going into it, like, we flew into Fort Lauderdale instead of Miami, and looking back, I won't do that again. I'll just pay the extra flying to Miami, but it was quite a bit of savings. And then, like, the last several times we did this, however you're going to get to the airport to the hotel, it's just been a nightmare. And so that's, you know, I was like, well, I'm not going to try to save money. But then I get there, and the first person who I thought was a taxi driver, I don't believe it was, I think it was just a dude pretending to be an Uber driver, said it'd be $80. Like, I'm not paying $80 for this. The actual flight costs less than that for this side of it. And then I was like, so I walked all the way on to where the taxi was, because historically, the last few times that had been the best way to go, and that's what some other people had said too. And I asked them, I said, $70. Like, $70 is still like way too much. So I went to do the lift, and then lift didn't have my credit. I had an old credit card on there, so it was expired. So I had to put that in there. And they came out, but then you wait with like hundreds of people, so you're like, oh, you know, it's not going to be a quick thing. But it wasn't too long of a wait. It actually, overall, the lift part went pretty smooth. I mean, it was $43, so 43 compared to 70 to 80. So, but you know, so I may have waited, I'm guessing 15 minutes. Nothing too crazy. But then the bad part was it took like an hour to get there. So at this point, it's, I don't know what time it was, 7:30-ish, and went to check in. Of course, I had no reservation from a hotel, the Circa 39 hotel, and get there, and the guy says, "I'm sorry, we got bad news for you. We're overbooked." I'm like, "What do you mean you're overbooked? I got my freaking hotel reservations right here." So, but he said, "We booked you a place at your sister hotel, our sister hotel, which is nicer." I don't care. I just want to sleep at this point. But then what made it more confusing, before I could even get paperwork and even the name of it, he said, "Hey, I've called you an Uber." But the Uber driver showed up like, he must have been outside, because he showed up immediately. But like the other Uber driver, they're on the wrong side of the street. So now both times I'm crossing the street with all my luggage. So that was annoying. And then he drops me off, and I don't even quite know the name of the hotel. I get to this new hotel, and we don't have a reservation for you. And I'm like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me." And so eventually, she looked like a manager, so that's why I talked to her. But the 20-year-old kid knew more than she did. So I guess they get me checked in. Of course, you guys still got to put your own credit card on for incidentals and all that stuff. So. I get there and I was like, finally get up to the room and that kind of stuff, and I was like, went down and talked to a nice manager that knew that, and from talking to him, what happened was they just booked this hotel on their own because they oversold it. They have no ties to this place, from what I understand, and then after that, I was like, I was talking to the guy, and he said, I asked him for a space for energy drinks. He said, "Yeah, there's actually a Walgreens like a block away." So, okay, that'll work out good. So I passed these two good-looking girls. It looked like they should be high-end strippers. I was working straight corner, but as good as that sounds, I wasn't in the mood for even that. Look at that, and then I get to the Walgreens. And there was a person that looks like she should have been working the street corner 20 years ago in there, and then a funny looking guy. And at that point, I was like, "It's just time for bed." So I was like, "Well, they do have a restaurant here. There's really nothing restaurants around here. And I wasn't really comfortable just walking around by myself." And then, so I go in there and check the prices, and it's like appetizers start at $20-something, entrees at $40. It's 10 o'clock at this point. Nobody's in there. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just not feeling a $40 meal now." So I just close everything and go to bed. So, that's the highlights from what I learned from this. Flying to Miami to Fort Lauderdale, spend extra money is not worth it. And the energy drinks is probably not. I don't know how to come up with something on that. But anyway, that's the highlight for the personal side of things.